Yo, what's up? Justin Satawa, YingYangSports. I'm here with the holy crap, what the hell is happening in Detroit sports update? I am just in awe with everything that is happening around the every sport, every league, doesn't matter. Tigers are electric. Red Wings just signed Raymond. Lions obviously lost this weekend. It was pretty upsetting. Pistons didn't do anything, but very interesting weekend, and we're going to tap into all of it. I hope that the new setup is doing good. It looks very good on my screen, so that's very exciting. And I'm hoping that we can get some more consistent now that I am all set up, my beautiful setup in my room, and I'm feeling right at home. So there is lots to get into today. I want to start off with the Michigan game against USC because there's people are still creeping in here, and I want to talk about that because I want to see what Orgy has. I think Orgy is going to be very intriguing to watch this weekend. I think the offense is going to be very intriguing, and I'm just glad that Davis Warren isn't going to be in there. Anakin, what's good, Doug? I'm glad to have you here. Yes, the loss did hurt 100%, and I'm talking about Michigan right now, and I'm not convinced that they're going to win this weekend. I don't know. I genuinely don't. This is one of the trickiest games that I've looked into in a very long time. I genuinely have no idea if they're going to win. I don't know what the offense is going to look like with Orgy. I don't know if they're going to be more creative on offense because that's my big thing is that they were the offense. Honestly, the Lions too. Both the Lions and Michigan's offense were just completely vanilla with no creativity at all, and that is just something that you can't have when you're playing with a team that is incomplete at the quarterback position. I'm not talking about the Lions in that case. I'm talking about Michigan. But I got grilled yesterday, and I want to hear what you guys thought because I was too busy fighting off Stick and Neil. But is it that crazy of a take to say that Baker Mayfield isn't that far off from where Jared Goff is in terms of being a quarterback? Like at the end of the day, like Jared Goff is better. He's better at his best day. You and I will get to that in 1 second because I have a very interesting thought about the DC at Michigan. I'm not a fan personally because the no I'm Michigan right now because Don Brown 2.0 is what Wink Martindale is, and that's what he was known for in the NFL as well. I was very worried going into the season when I remembered that Martindale was our DC. He just turns it up, he throws the heat, and Texas just exposed him. Sark schemed him out of proportion, and there was nothing that you. It doesn't matter if you have good players if you're playing a bad scheme. Like I mean, straight up, and it doesn't seem like we're playing the right scheme. It seems like this is not the Michigan that we've been used to over the last couple of years. 100%. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, their defense wasn't even that good either. But yeah, Michigan's probably in trouble against USC this weekend. Makari Page, I don't know why he's looked out of sync too, but they're gonna go after him and these man coverage schemes, these heavy blitz pressures, and he's just not athletic enough to be a effective cornerback against the skill position players that USC has, and that's a valid concern. And right now, I'm struggling to see 8 wins on the schedule. Like this team does not look good. This team looks like it can get bullied up front, and that is what this team has strived on for the past couple of years. Is how well they can lean on you up front on the offensive line and the defensive line. And when you can't do that, it completely swings the game to the other side because that's not your style of play, and it only hurts you. And that's the reality of Michigan football for now. And their offense is also going to be facing eight guys in the box, 7 guys in the box. And you're like, all Orgy's going to have to do is hit a couple open guys who beat man coverage. Like you're not asking for a lot if you're using Orgy. The issue with Davis Warren is they never used him, and decent athlete. I mean, you saw he had a little bit of legs. I'm not saying he's Alex Orgy with the legs, but a couple of read options could have completely changed the conception of the offense. And I think that is a key thing. I'll always say there's two things that are overpowered in college football: the read option and the quarterback power with a mobile quarterback. And if you do those things at an elite level, you're a 9-1 football team. And you can't tell me I'm wrong. I would keep low expectations for Michigan. So if they go 6-6, you're not disappointed. But if they do better, then it'll be a great surprise. Honestly, I've kind of just put it to bed. Michigan. I'm gonna watch the games. I'm gonna be a fan, but I'm not gonna get my emotions wrapped up in the game to game basis. This team isn't good enough right now to make the playoff, and until they show me that, I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm going to be disappointed, and I'm just going to keep it pushing because I don't know what else to do as a fan when it, I can't call for us. I mean, I called for the switch for of Davis Ward for Orgy, but at some point you're just fucked. Like, and that's the end of the day, and Michigan might be getting to that point. Like, and it's tough to admit. It really is. It's hard to admit that they're in that situation, but it's the reality, and I really, really worry. It's I'm speechless thinking about how the season could go from all right, the floor is 7-5 to now the floor being 6-6, and that's being generous. And then like it's just crazy how quickly the narratives can flip when it comes to the college football, and but while we're on this depression train, let's just get into the Lions. I mean, the Lions just, I mean, they laid a goose egg. I mean, they did exactly what they did in week 2 last year, and I think that it honestly shows the pedigree of teams like the Chiefs. The Chiefs really didn't look great, but they found a way to win. A Super Bowl level team, no matter everything that happened, no matter the bad game plan, no matter what, if you are able to score on one of those last 2 drives, you punch a touchdown, and on one of those 2 drives, you had 2 chances to legitimately score a touchdown, and we didn't even do anything. You could have even kicked 2 field goals. Like, you could have kicked a field goal in the non-spike in the first half. Like, that is stuff that Super Bowl level teams don't do. Straight up. And everyone's like, "Oh, don't overreact, don't overreact." I'm not overreacting. I'm not overreacting. But Anakin, there's a reason why, and he says the Chiefs got bailed out by the refs again. There's a reason why though. They have the pedigree to put themselves in positions to get those calls. Like, you, it was PI. Like, you know, like when the Chiefs are moving down the field, they know that they are going to make a play, or they're going to get a penalty that's going to extend the drive to get them to a successful position to win the game, and they do it every single time, literally every time. It's not a coincidence. When the Lions are good, they get those calls, and when they're on, they get those calls. And I don't know. Ben Johnson did not call a good game, 100%. Mike G, glad to have you here. Go Blue. I'll get to the Raymond stuff in a second, but there was mistakes around the board. Dan Campbell has to spike the ball and not get the field goal team out there. Ben Johnson's got to call a little bit of a better game. Jared Goff can't be dropping back to pass 55 times. And I know 34 carries on the ground could still have more. They were successful running the ball between the tackles in standard under center formations. When they went to shotgun and they tried running to the outside, that's when they got into trouble. Their linebackers were quick and their DNs were quick outside. But when Vita Vea went out, you could have ran stretch plays down the middle all day and continued to run your offense and run the play action. Where was all the play action? There's so many just straight drops. Where's the play action? Let's not try to make Goff something he's not. Goff is very, very elite throwing on the play action. He's very elite at finding the right guy. But he hasn't been either. He's been too center locked on JMO. Looks like he's looking for JMO every play. And it comes out today. Laporta is dealing with an injury. That's why he's not been very involved in the offense. Well, that's great. Amon-Ra St. Brown was, and some of these route combinations too. Like there was a couple clips where I saw where we're running every single receiver to the right with one guy stopped in the middle, and if the guy stopped in the middle just ran a little bit further across the defense, it would have been it would have been a big play. And I know, I mean, it was Laporta, so I don't know what's going on with Laporta. I can't necessarily speak on that specifically, but it just really sucks that that game happened. And I agree. I think we'll be fine. I was emotional in the moment. Goff had over 300 yards. We had over 100 yards rushing. We just got to finish in the red zone. And Alan, I completely agree with you. There's nothing more to it, honestly. We got to finish in the red zone. The 1-for-7 in the red zone is absolutely ridiculous. You cannot do that. And Big G, the Chiefs get a hall pass, man. Lions don't. Lions still the kids in the. They are. And they are the kids on the block because they don't do stuff that the Chiefs do. The Chiefs constantly are able to capitalize on mistakes. They would have capitalized on the fact that they had 42 seconds left on the clock. And that's where it comes down to. And I don't know. What do you think about Dan saying today it might take till the bye week to get the offense really clicking? I think he's just putting realistic expectations on an offense that's struggling. I think he knows that this game in Arizona is going to be tough, and we got a tough this is a tough everyone thought Arizona was going to be a cupcake. I told you the Lions are going to start 2 or 3-1, and they're going to lose. I said they were going to lose to Arizona. They ended up losing to Tampa, which is brutal. But this is no cupcake game. They just blew out the Rams. And I know the Rams are shorthanded, but they still did it. It's the National Football League. You don't just blow teams out to blow teams out. Like, they look good. Their offense looks good. We struggle against mobile quarterbacks. Until we see that we don't struggle against mobile quarterbacks, we still struggle against mobile quarterbacks. And is that wrong? Is that unfair to say? Is it unfair to say that the Lions struggle against mobile quarterbacks until I see otherwise? We just saw Baker do it. Baker isn't necessarily that mobile. He just make a couple plays. And he ran for 4 at least big first downs, big pickups to set them up in good field position to create first downs, extend drives. Like, I don't know. I want to see it because you're seeing the fruits of the Cardinals trade with the Texans. You saw the Texans get the advantage when they got the 2 picks in the first round. 2023, 2024. Cardinals had both the picks in the first round. They capitalized and they added to their roster. Now they're looking really good. Like, I don't know. I think it might be a tough week to be a Michigan and Lions fan. Like, I'm just trying to prepare myself for the reality of us losing both games. Like, even if we are 1-2, I'm not gonna freak out. This team is still built to make a deep run. They will be fine. Will they be fine next week? Will they be fine after the bye? Like Dan Campbell said in his press conference. Like, I wish I had an answer. I wish I did. I know this team will be fine though. This team is built deep. This team is built in every facet of the game. The defense is playing out of their mind. If your defense can play like this and your offense can give you 80% of what they gave you last year, which that's even stretching it. I don't even think that's a fair comparison to make. But they will be fine. And Anakin says it's not like we're 0-3. And the offense is just, this is Munty? I think he meant mucky. Offense is mucky. I mean, it is mucky, but I'm not worried. They could lose to the Cardinals. I believe they have the Packers after that. I'll have to look. I don't necessarily remember, but this is a tough stretch coming up. I don't. The expectations haven't changed. Like the thing is that we're not used to is it's being an elite. Oh, we play the Cowboys and the Titans. So I mean, I expect us to go 2-1, and I think that's fair. I expect us to go 2-1. I I don't really only care about making the playoffs. Oh, like revolt. No, I mean the offense is not ready. They show signs. I mean they ran the ball all over the. Excuse me. They ran the ball all over the the Bucks, and I'm not worried. I mean the speed that one linebacker number 9, I'm forgetting his name, the rookie, was flying around the field, and that gives me cause for a little bit of concern. But I don't know. There's lots of things that's got to improve as we move on towards the bye. I mean, we got. Oh no, we play Seattle, then the Cowboys. Oh, my mistake. I hate how the schedule doesn't go straight down on Google. It goes side to side. That's confused me. But all right, so I mean 1-1 then. 1-1 against the Seahawks or the Cardinals. I'm not freaking out at 2-2. They fix everything at the bye. They go into the rest of the season into this big stretch. You know they have the two. They play at the Cowboys at the. I mean that stretch is going to be grueling after the bye. So I'm really just looking for that needs to keep the run game north and south. Hey, Min mate, that's what I was saying about 10 minutes ago before you were here, and I appreciate you being here. Like we were so successful on the runs up the middle, the stretch plays, anything that was not in the shotgun or a designed outside run. Because even stretch plays are, I wouldn't call it necessarily an outside run because you can cut it up at any point when you see a lane. So I'm not worried. It's not freak out. This team is still going to be very good. This team's still going to make the playoffs. This team's still going to be a contender in the Super Bowl. We got to see more of that pedigree though. The pedigree has to rise in order to be at the level that you need to beat a team like the Chiefs. And that's the bottom line. Like we are chasing the Chiefs, and that is a tough road to climb. It is like you have to beat Mahomes. And to beat Mahomes, you have to show a level of being elite at every facet of the ball. That the only time I've seen it is Tampa when they played them in the Super Bowl and Mahomes lost. And I know he didn't have his tackles, but they truly dominated every facet of that game. They ran the ball well. They kept Mahomes off the field. When he was on the field, they blitzed him like a motherfucker. He had no time to throw. Like there, and that's where we need to get to. And that's why there's going to be a point where we need to add another pass rusher to this defense most likely because imagine you like you're contending for a Super Bowl. You trade a third, you get back an elite pass rusher. You now have a rotation of 4 defensive ends that can go in there and rush the passer on any down. That's true. That is true, Anakin. That's why there are 2 good teams that are actually 2-0. There are the Bills and the Chiefs, and neither of them are in the AFC or in the NFC. They're both in the AFC, and that's why I'm not worried. I don't remember if you were against it or not. Do you mind change on playing the Stars in the preseason after this slow start? I mean, the Chiefs do it. It's it's a tough thing to think about because I think the entire league is suffering from the lack of that last preseason game because you're seeing it with the level of the offensive production being down. The around the league, like passing touchdowns, passing yards are both down in these first couple weeks of the season, and that where I get that from is I think it has to do with the fact that there's one less preseason game than there normally is, but that might just be like the league might be going back to a more running back centric league. I mean, you see teams leaning more on the run game, even with elite quarterback play. So I don't know if I would fully give it to that, but I think it might be a factor, especially because the starters used to play in the preseason. It's only more of a newer thing that they don't, and I think that it shows to an extent. But I'm gonna flip from the football real quick because I do I will. All right, I guess I'll answer this one question first. Alan W. I'm sorry, but Houston is done. Bro played 3 snaps against the Bucks and was a healthy scratch against the Rams. He might be. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on with him. Like that until someone comes out and says what is going on with Houston and Laporta even with his injury about being involved in the offense. You can't even guess. Like maybe he's dealing with something that's like a like stinger that it's really tough to play through, but you could if you wanted to. I mean, like me personally, I played through a broken rib. Like it was painful. It hurts. It's not something that you want to do, but you can do it. So it might be one of those situations. You I can't put a finger on anything like that. But at the end of the day, he has put it out there that he can be an effective pass rusher in this league, even if it's just at a limited snap account and in a limited role. And that may be who he is at the end of the day. But he's a big question mark, and I don't know how Goodell is going to go to 18 games. I really don't. It doesn't make sense. It's tough on the players, and I can't even. That is a grueling season. Like that might even be more grueling than the MLB season, just off the hits that you have to take every single day. Like you're getting into a car accident 18, 17, 18 weeks out of the season, and then playoffs if you play it, the playoffs. Oh, yeah, thank you, Minute Maid. I try to be a dog. I played through a plethora of injuries, actually, on top of that one. I played through a broken rib last year for between September and December. I played with a broken rib. It healed over winter break. I played with a broken wrist in our playoffs when I was 15. I played through a broken wrist. I played through a separated shoulder when I was 16. And yeah, so I don't know. I guess it just I refuse to miss a game. I just like that. I don't know why. I just like there's something about me where if I can even remotely like get up to play the game and be anywhere near effective and help my team win, I will go help my team win. And there's no doubt about that. I'll never shy away from a challenge of trying to play through something that if the injury risk is low, I'm probably playing. But speaking of playing through injuries, because I am a hockey player, another hockey player that is a pretty big deal around Detroit is Lucas Raymond. Lucas Raymond signs his. Honestly, it's pretty much a max contract off his rookie deal. He signs an 8-year, $64.5 million deal to stay with the Red Wings and be this team's long-term like offensive cornerstone. And Anakin, I'm sorry to hear that your season was ended by a torn stupia. Oh my god, stupula. I'm sorry. I definitely in the back on my torso. That sounds so painful. I'm gonna have to look that up after and see what that looks like. I can only imagine how painful something like that would be. But Lucas Raymond is going to be electric this year. And I don't want to say his amazing over the top breakout season is coming because he already has broken out. People just don't know. People aren't hip. They just want to, pump up Wyatt Johnston's tires in Dallas. But Lucas Raymond's really, really good too. Like let's cut the shit. And when Dylan Larkin is healthy, they are pretty damn elite. They are a a point a game at the minimum together. And that's in their first year of truly playing together. Lucas Raymond is only going to get better. He looked amazing at World Juniors. He's going to put on some more weight. He put on 15 pounds last offseason. Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. You jumped the gun on me. I'll give you the credit. I guess I'll just skip to it. Stevie Y went ahead of schedule, signing Raymond 8 years at $8 million, and 2 will be a steal for him in 2 years, 100%. Because you know what they're going to do this season? Larkin's going to stay healthy because there's even more depth on the offense. He's not going to have to do as much. He's going to just be able to play his true role as a really, really good two-way center, be a leader on this team. And if he stays healthy, Raymond would not have gone through these. No, man, you're all good, my dog. You're all good. Raymond went through 2 slumps last year. Both 5-game stretches, he had 0 points. Straight. 5 straight games. Both times, 5 games at least. He then bounced back every single time the game before Dylan Larkin comes back, and then starts blowing up when Larkin comes back. That 10 to 15 game stretch that Larkin was out cost Lucas Raymond at least 10 points. That puts him at 82 points this year if Larkin stays healthy. You then counter that with our power play will be better than last year with the amount of offensive talent that this roster holds. He will explode. He will be better than last year. I think 85 points is where I'm putting him at. I think if Larkin stays healthy, 85 is so in reach for Raymond. And I mean, Larkin will probably have a few less, but man. And to go back to Min-Made's point, the way the cap rises every year, it's only going to continue to go up. The ratings from McDavid being in the Stanley Cup should bring up the ratings again this year, bring in some more casual hockey fans, and bring more money into the sport, and all of that will continue to raise the salary cap. And you have to remember, this team is still a year away from competing for a Stanley Cup. When you have to re-sign guys, like when you have to sign guys in free agency in 2 years to match your cord, when you have to replace the Tarasenkos of the world, the Canes of the world, this contract will look very similar to what it looks like for JT Miller for the Vancouver Canucks. JT Miller is a 100-point scorer on the same contract as Lucas Raymond. That is the best contract in the NHL. The Vancouver Canucks absolutely nailed that one out of the park, and I expect it to look the same when Raymond is absolutely popping as one of the best offensive talents in the NHL next week. Because you don't even start to hit your prime, your true prime in the NHL until you're 25. Like, we are still on the precipice of seeing how good he can really be. And Anakin, I know that's a lot of points. I really do. But he is so good. He is one of those guys where you see him on the ice and he just controls the offensive flow of the game. And that is a very minute thing that you have to look for. But if you go watch, I watched a little bit of his games in Sweden for the national team. You go watch some of the games from the end of last year. Like, he is taking over games. That is an elite trait. That is an elite trait. And I'm excited to see the explosion. I hope Sider's deal can get done. I hope we have a little bit of cap space where we can move one of our bad contracts in the middle of the season, bring in some more talent, because there's always disgruntled stars that have big contracts that you can bring in. And I know Stevie Y will try to make it work no matter what it is. Hopefully it's a defenseman. Still a little wary about the decor. It's a solid, B, maybe B- right now. I'd love for there to be another guy in that room who I can count on. But, if ands and candies and nuts, it will just have to play out. But I guess we'll finish on the positive note. The Detroit Tigers. Are you kidding me? For real. 1.5 games back of the wild card? After people like Flannel call for the guy's job? Are this dude is a dog. One of the best managers in the MLB. This team has no business being 1.5 games out of the playoffs with 2 starting pitchers. But he figures it out. Federer's elite. Federer gets the bullpen going. You never worry about the bullpen. AJ Hinch, sometimes he feels like he overmanages, but then there's these other times where he's knocking it out of the park. Shout out Parker Meadows as well. Parker Meadows comes back into the lineup, absolutely kills it. Really shows what value he has to this team and the elite center fielding defensively he gives you and how big of an advantage that is. I mean, I really, really like what we're like the Tigers are seeing, and we truly are. Like, and I was saying this, before, and it might have been on the sliver of hope that we spend, but now they better do it. They better spend this offseason. This team is good enough to win, especially with Hinch and Federer. They are too valuable, 100% mid-made. Give Federer whatever he wants to stay on this team because we need him on this team. You literally bring in two major league level bats like a Jesse Winker or like a Matt Chapman level player, someone who you're gonna have to give some bread for, and you go after it. And you know what? Javi Baez hasn't played either, so buy his ass out too. Get him out of here. I don't want to see him again. He can go play for some other team, be their eighth option on their team, rake in the bottom of their lineup because he only gets fastballs. Like, only a playoff team pulls the games off on the road against the Royals last night. Exactly. Playoff teams find ways to win those type of games, and I completely agree. And that's what this team is so close. It truly is so close, and I can't wait to see the the rest of the season. Hopefully, we can keep it close towards the end. I mean, listen, we split these next two games with the Royals. We take two or three out of the Orioles. There is a very good chance at that point we're a half game out or we're in the wild card battling. Like, for real, there really is a decent chance that that's the case. He really would, but Winker would be a great option. I completely agree. Anakin, send him to the moon for all I care. Baez can just, I don't know. I don't want to ever see him on a TV screen again. But we're gonna end on this last question by Anakin. Justin, I like hockey, but the problem is I can't ice skate very well. I mean, I can skate down the ice and stay on my feet, but not without staying near the edge. Anakin, what I would tell you is skating is just a repetition thing. You just genuinely have to get into the feel of skating and the strides, the balance. And once you get that, it all starts to come naturally to you. And even if you aren't, you can't necessarily enjoy the sport physically and enjoy it by playing it. It is very electric to watch, especially playoff hockey. That I mean, we'll see. It's gonna be a great couple seasons here. We got the Tigers wrapping up. We got the Lions in the teeth of it. Sending the fan base to the brink, and we got the Wings that are about to start up. So and the Pistons. Can't forget the Pistons. Hopefully they're any sort of decent. But that's gonna do it for me today. Go watch your heavyweights. Go enjoy. I appreciate you all tuning in so much. If you haven't already, I think all of you have. Smash that like button. I appreciate you all, and we're gonna get consistent out here. I just finished my setup, as you can see. I hope it looks good. I hope that we can get it going and really start getting after it. Cause I love doing this for y'all and hanging out. So have a great rest of your night, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.